right,
points separating
get ready.
the top two in the chase and 6 feet on the racetrack. Jimmie
Green
Johnson
flag.
and Jeff Burton as they come down to the green flag.
Still there. Outside. Outside. Barely there. Clear, clear.
We have really cold temperatures here today, and generally when that happens, especially on this concrete surface, these radial tires don't like to hook up to that. So these first few laps are going to be pretty exciting for these guys, as these cars are going to slip around quite a bit.
Jeff Gordon caught up on the outside. He was the best car in happy hour final practice on Saturday.
He's been the best car here in a lot of happy hours and a lot of 500-lap races for quite a few years now.
Nice exits there.
Earnhardt Jr. behind him in the 88. There's the 11 car of Hamlin that won here back in March.
Saw Clint Bowyer slip just a little bit off the corner. That's all Jeff Gordon needed to get clear of the 07. That outside lane can work fairly good in the very beginning laps when the tires are cold, but once they start kind of getting heated up, you need to get back down to the curb.
Yeah, you can make some time on the start of the race or on restarts on that outside, but you don't want to be up there very long before you get back to the bottom. That's where the real grip is.
Well, Tony Stewart slipped up just a little bit there in turns 1 and 2, and Earnhardt Jr. had to give him a little more room. That cost him some space. Kyle Busch in behind the 20 car of Stewart. Here's the 6 car we mentioned. David Reagan had to go to a backup car, and even when they got the backup car out yesterday, they were really good in that final practice.
It's going to be very important for David to try to pass as many cars as he can before these leaders start coming around, because they come around quick on this half-mile racetrack, and the more cars he can
clear by 2. Nice job.
The better off he'll be.
Yeah, the leader's already within a half a lap of the last car, so you're exactly right. The more cars he can put in between, the better his chances. And right now he's got a car that's being able to pass cars.
Battle for 11th position. Denny Hamlin will take that spot. Kurt Busch looking to try to move on the inside of Earnhardt Jr. for 12th. More on Denny Hamlin. Dave.
Yeah, man, as the spring winner, glad to be back on that low line again. I asked crew chief Mike Ford if they even worked on the high line here. He said no way. He said Denny's game is to beat you getting off the corner, to drag race you down and put that nose in the low line going into the corner. The high line we really don't even consider.
Staying on the bottom of the racetrack, pretty important here, and that's what right now the battle is among Roush Fenway teammates for 3rd position. Edwards and Biffle.
Yeah, this hasn't been either one of those guys' best racetrack by any stretch of the imagination. They both really struggled here, but a lot of people have told me that Carl Edwards' car was really good in practice yesterday.
The one problem I see with this 99 car is how hard it's hitting the splitter getting in the corner, and I think that's hurting him a lot. See Jeff Gordon really working the bumper hard on this 99. Mike?
Well, Andy, DJ just made a good point about Carl Edwards. He said this has not been necessarily his best track. In fact, Carl said the time he was here, he was completely intimidated by this racetrack. But he does credit a little conversation he had with a veteran who had been good here. The late Bobby Hamilton had helped him, giving him advice on how not to overdrive the corners. Carl said that went a long way in improving the way he attacks this racetrack. He said since that conversation, he's been much better. He's extremely optimistic coming into this afternoon.
Bobby Hamilton Sr. really had this racetrack down pat, and he was real easy on equipment. He was one of the easiest guys that I ever had driving for me on equipment here at Martinsville.
Edwards lost that spot a moment ago to Jeff Gordon.
Be free.
There's the top 2, Jimmie Johnson, by about 7 car lengths over Jeff Burton.
Look how close he is to the back of this field.
Yeah.
See the back of the field going into turn 1. There's Jimmie coming off turn 4.
So we said a while ago it was a half a lap. Now that it's he's on just a quarter of a lap behind these guys.
P4.
See a guy that's really making a move here so far, and it's not surprising. Andy, I know he's your pick to win this race, and that's the only reason I didn't get him because you picked him first, I think. But Jeff Gordon is just, he's outstanding here, and he views this with this race team as their best opportunity to get the victory lane.
Jeff Gordon, a 7-time winner here, has not won a race in 36 starts, going back to Charlotte in October of 2007. Jamie.
And Doc, he and his crew chief Steve Letarte both thinking about that. They feel that this is one of the best chances they have all year to win. I asked Steve why Jeff is so good here. He said, well, with this new car, it's interesting. This racetrack is the only tracks we go back to where they use the same tire. He said Jeff loves these tires. They just can't figure it out when it comes to the other tracks when they go back there with the new tires. Kind of interesting, DJ. What do you think?
Yeah, when you get a place that you really enjoy racing at, and you know that you're going to have a setup, that makes all the difference in the world.
33, 50 behind you.
These guys are going to be good. I think Jeff Gordon not only wants to win here today, he wants to try to dominate this race.
See some of these cars just really
Clear by 4 there. Looking good.
Car is killing the front splitter. He's going down in the corner, and that thing is just sitting right on that front splitter, which is made of a different material there. You can see that black coming out of it. It's not a...
9, good lap.
And that's really hurting Kenny right now. I saw that out of Carl Edwards' car, the 99, but this 96 car has just been really killing it.
Side by side, Tony Stewart in the 20 car, the 07. That's for 7th spot.
Yeah, that's how you kind of slide up and move a guy, get him out of the groove a little bit. So you get that pass easy. You get to running side by side here, slows both cars down quite a bit. Tony didn't take that chance, so we see splitter drag in there too.
You see all that dark looking smoke? That's what that is. That composite material is wearing away. You see it big time on Tony's car too. You expect that on low air pressures, but now we've run 17 laps. You would think they would have air pressures high enough that they should.
James, the only guy that's really coming to be the 24. He's back behind the 31. You're doing great.
That is Mike Bliss making a rare appearance in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. He is the 4th place points man in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Be back in action next week in Memphis.
Good job.
Jeff Gordon didn't take him long to run down Jeff Burton. Now he's going to be on the move to try to reel in his teammate Jimmie Johnson. Jeff Gordon is a 7-time winner here. Jimmie Johnson has won 4 times, including 3 of the last 4 trips to Martinsville. Set for the restart at Martinsville, Virginia, under caution for the first time.
Get ready.
The 88 car, by the way, Earnhardt Jr. too fast entering pit road. He's had to restart.
Green flag.
The longest line, which will put him back in.
Looking inside. He's there. Inside. Inside.
Gordon on the inside.
Inside.
Bold move for Jeff Gordon, diving underneath Jimmie Johnson, getting into 1.
I'm telling you, he's got an agenda.
Still there.
That's to get this
Inside.
car out front and lead as many laps as he can, and let everybody
Inside.
know that he's the guy that they're going to have to beat.
Still there.
If they want to get that grandfather clock.
I think he knows Jimmie Johnson's got a lot to lose there, so he was going to lead.
Still there.
That car
Another one looking.
Inside.
Inside. That's a quarter, barely there. Clear, clear.
If he can hang there.
Jimmie Johnson.
Good job. Nice and smooth here.
To make sure he's clear and get back to the bottom.
These teams are pretty excited about the fact that the qualifying was rained out and they were going to start by points, but the 2014 was not one of them. They were adamant that with this brand new car, they would have won the pole.
And now they're up in the lead, so it's not a big deal as far as the racetrack's concerned, but they got the 8th best pit stall on pit road. That's where it might actually hurt this 2014. If we were able to qualify, they would have been a whole lot better position.
Nice off the corner there. You pull them every time.
We just joined our coverage. 1 caution flag, lap 28. Travis Quapple, chain reaction crash, bounced it off the wall. Minimal to no damage in the 28 car. The top 18 car stayed on the racetrack. Everyone else came on to pit road for tires and fuel. Here's the 10 car of A.J. Allmendinger.
He had a great practice session yesterday, both of them actually. This car was real fast. We saw a little brake fire after one of the practices, so he's probably using a lot of brakes.
Go get him. Brake man's on when you can.
He's got Denny Hamlin right on his bumper, and Denny Hamlin was one that came in and took on tires in that.
Clear by 4.
Caution, and we heard Earnhardt Jr. talk about that his car was too tight, or were they reporting that his car was too tight? Yesterday, we heard him say during the practice session that he was way too loose, so apparently a little bit of an over.
38, same as the leader.
A.J. Allmendinger is the last car that did not take tires, so that'll be the first car that these guys with tires will get to. Oh, a little contact.
Get into the left rear right there.
That's Junior right there.
I'm sorry, Junior.
Yeah. He had to start dead last on that restart. He's trying to get through there.
He's going to have to do a lot of that if he's going to get up through there, too, and keep himself on the lead lap.
Well, I tell you, guys, this is a point in the race right now where these guys are really using these cars up, and the leaders, they got a little free ground up there. You see the air between the cars, and they're not bumper to bumper, but those guys in the back of the pack now, man, they are so tight to each other. They're burning the brakes up. Out of the cars. This is the point where it's where you got to let it breathe a little bit. Don't tear your equipment up early. So you got it at the end.
Still there.
Earlier in the show. That's one thing I'm
outside.
concerned about these guys in the back.
Clear.
They're tearing their stuff up right now.
That's what I was going to say, Rusty. It's a lot easier to take care of your car if you're in the top 5 or 6 or actually top 10. If you're back there in the back, you've got to use a lot.
Very smooth.
You're up there like Jeff Gordon is right now. He can, he can control the race. He can get out of the gas early, Andy, and kind of save those brakes. But the guys in the back, they're worried about getting lapped, so they're driving their brains out, and they're actually tearing the car up early. Not when you want to. You want to save it early. They just don't have that option right now.
Hey, Rusty, you did a lot more leading out front.
Same as the leader.
At the back. So when you were that leader and catching these guys at the back, did you use some patience there, or did you just want to get them all a lap down as much as you could?
Well, I tried to get them down to lap down as much as I could, Dale. That's a good question, but also you had to set the guys up. You had to know who you're dealing with. If you had a character that you knew was pretty rough and going to rough you up trying to get around him, you might give him more room in the air.
Same as the leader.
Right now, you got to be careful when these guys are getting lapped. But look how hard they're driving, guys. I mean, they're bumper to bumper. They're hitting each other, sliding around. I mean, they're really concerned about going down a lap right now.
And Rusty, one of the keys to your success here when you were driving that #2 car over the years was you didn't drive the car that hard. You said you backed out a lot of times and didn't charge the corner.
Well, right now, at this point, what I've been doing, if I was Martin Truex or Kurt Busch or some of the guys like that, if I got enough room behind me, guys, I'm going to get out of the throttle early at the start-finish line, way early. Let that car coast in the corner like that right there. Stay off the brakes, save the equipment. But when they catch me and they start roughing me up, that's when I'm going to start driving back off.
What do you think's wrong with this 31 car right here? He's really
45 on the leader.
Looked like he was good that first run. He ran, Jimmie Johnson basically kind of ran him down, and now he can't seem to keep up.
You know, we saw yesterday he wasn't that good on the speed chart and didn't pay that much. He got a little contact there with Greg Biffle and the 00 Mike Bliss. But it looked like Jeff Burton was struggling in practice yesterday, which is surprising because they've always been so good here.
Jeff Burton ran the most laps of anybody, any of the chasers in the final practice session. He ran over 80 laps. No one else ran nearly that many. Obviously, he's having problems here today. Jeff Gordon is our leader.
Hard on the right rear up.
Completing caution #6 on the day.
All right,
Greg
get
Biffle
ready.
stayed on the racetrack, becomes our 5th different leader, picking up those bonus points right
Green
behind
flag.
Jimmie and Jeff. Green flag waves. That's
Still there.
17, the lap
Inside.
car of Matt Kenseth. Being shown
Inside.
right now, he's the first car around.
Still there. Still there. Fairly clear, clear, clear.
They get hold Kyle Busch 2 laps in the pits. He's being shown now 3 laps down in 38th position.
All clear.
Bad chase races. Just one more problem.
The reason for the caution flag a moment ago, we had 3 different cars, all have right front tire issues.
77's one of them. Come out pits there.
These brakes just get so hot.
Looks like he's got another flat on the right front or something that's really leaned over.
Transfers into the tire. The tire won't take but so much heat, and finally it melts the.
Still there. Still there. Clear.
Can you tell us a little more about this, Brewer?
Hey, Andy, I think I know the philosophy behind this. Folks, the fluid, it boils. It gives the driver an indication that, hey, things are getting real hot. When the fluid boils, that's one thing. But when they melt the O-ring out behind the piston right there, that's another thing. But as it transfers the heat from the rotor, what it does, it melts this beaded area right here, and this is going to be the end result right here. And this is a melted bead that we got off of Kurt Busch's car up here last race.
Tim, that looks exactly like the tires we saw being pulled off those cars. All that heat there in the bead. And by the way, Kyle Busch had complained that he was having brake issues about 25 laps ago.
Well, I tell you what, guys, those brake issues, these brake builders keep building better and better brakes.
Still there.
The bigger they make the brakes, the
Outside.
harder stuff gets.
Outside.
See Jimmie
Still
Johnson
there.
passing Greg Biffle on the bottom.
Still out there.
So it looks like he's got a cleared right
Barely
now.
there, you're clear.
But
Clear.
I tell you, they use those brakes hard, they get hot, and it does that. I mean, but to have 3 of them in the same corner was something I've never seen in my life. It's just a big coincidence right there.
Yeah, you're right, Rusty. The brakes used to be the limiting factor. They would get hot, boil the fluid before these tires would blow out. Now the brakes are so
Wide
good
back behind
that
you,
the
3
tires
back.
become the weak link.
It sure has, Ian, and you know, it seems like the more you use these brakes, because you got big brakes, it just creates a ton of heat. If they could ever fix that heat problem, then we'd have no problems. But now we've got all this heat, and they can't get rid of it.
Greg Biffle, sort of the sitting duck. His tires some 42 laps older than the guys that have gone by him now. And now Gordon and Johnson have gone by.
I wonder why this 16 car stayed out. Dave, can you tell us?
I sure can. I talked to Greg Irwin about that. He said, you know, our car was so much
42.
out in front, or at least near the front of this pack, than it was back in the pack. Remember, they tried 2 tires a bit earlier, so he said, I wanted to get 4, I wanted to stay out and get the track position right now because the balance is halfway decent. A little bit tight for Greg, but he wanted the track position more than anything else.
He will be credited in for leading
36, 2045 behind you.
the 7 car a moment ago. Robbie Gordon's abruptly slowed on the racetrack and headed back to the garage area.
Oh, we see Greg Biffle slide that left front and getting into turn 3. You don't want to do that very many laps. Put a flat spot on that tire and it'll cause you a lot of problems. He's going to yield to Jamie McMurray right here.
7, good job, bud.
Position back, so there's no reason to race Jamie right there, who has fresh tires on. Just get himself locked in there and run some solid laps here, and they can run enough. Then he can find himself back in a good spot for the next pit sequence.
Yeah, he may have to dial a little bit of that front breakout because he's definitely sliding the left front. If I was his crew chief, I'd be telling him just float it in the corner, back the corner up just a little bit.
B2, make sure your brake pants are on.
Down in there, you see that left front tire just slide. You know, wisely he gets off that brake pedal and lets the car go up the racetrack, and that way he doesn't hurt the tire anymore.
And we've talked about Greg Biffle, this not being one of his better racetracks, and I think that's exactly one of the reasons why he has a difficult time here. As you see Carl Edwards trying to make the pass to the inside of him now, is that this isn't a racetrack, and in particular with these newer cars, that you can really attack the corners. You get yourself in more of a problem than what you do in making time.
Greg Biffle had led 6 total laps at this race.
Back to the gas.
He's led 9 today. Denny Hamlin back in heavy traffic. Remember, he won here back in the spring. Had some tire strategy late in that race.
60.
Working his way underneath the 83 car. Brian Vickers. They are basically 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th there. There's Harvick behind Vickers.
Denny Hamlin's one of those drivers that has a lot of discipline as far as getting his car down in the corner and getting it turned in the middle and getting off the corner with good grip. Dave?
Yeah, 2 tires.
Well, we're going to 6 up, 43, 55 behind you.
That last time, but remember, and I want to throw this out there because you guys were wondering about 2-tire strategy all day long, Doc. You mentioned it. At the end of this race, the final pit stop, they did take on just 2 right side tires and had just enough time to hold off Jeff Gordon at the end of that thing.
7.
There's the 31 car of Jeff Burton. Started on the outside front row. Grew up about 30 minutes from here in South Boston, Virginia. Won this race back in the fall of 1997. And I tell
Still
you,
there.
People he got last week in the
Still
garage,
there.
Probably one of the most
Clear.
popular drivers overall in the garage. His nickname is the Mayor. And I'm sure drivers in the chase would tell you if they couldn't win this championship, they'd like to see Jeff Burton win it.
He's definitely the spokesman down there in the garage area now.
Clear about 5 to the 24.
He has a good feel for what where the sport is, and he has good advice for a lot of the younger guys.
Well, after last weekend's efforts at Charlotte pulling off the big win, we asked Jeff Burton about being a threat to win the title this year.
Well, I think it confirms to outside people that we're a threat. We have believed all along that we're a threat, as I think anyone in the chase would believe they're a threat. We believe that we're
41 behind you.
It's clear to us that we've got to be better than we were in the first 26 races if we're going to win a championship.
Certainly is, and he wanted to be off the radar screen, sort of under the radar, but not anymore after that performance, those last laps at Charlotte, and the run here today, being very, very careful. He certainly continued. 6 car, David Reagan. We mentioned that he had to go to a backup car after contact. They had a wheel hop incident yesterday. Started at the back of the pack, and look where he's driven this car up in the top 20.
Been very patient. He's worked his way into the top 20.
A nice solid effort so far to this point. It would be easy that you could get yourself into a lot of trouble in trying to make those gains too quickly, but David's done a nice job. See right behind him is Ryan Newman and Elliott Sadler there, and I talked to Elliott. He wasn't very optimistic about his chances, but he's been able to stay on the lead lap, and he's in the 20th spot right now.
Probably one of the most gallant efforts we saw back in the spring when Elliott Sadler had back pain and was able to drive it at home. In a contact there between Reagan and Almirola, a couple of the young guns.
See Ryan Newman back here also in this battle. He was up running in the top 5 earlier as they stayed out on the racetrack, but it looked like he has a pretty good car. But it's interesting to watch as these guys get back in traffic, just how much more difficult it is for them.
Good job,
Jimmie Johnson, we've had 7 lead changes among 5 different drivers, and Johnson has led 4 times for 71 laps, moving in on lap 200 of 500.
Still there. Barely inside of you. Still there. Still there. Barely clear. That's it. Nice and smooth here.
Needs to get around the 8 car to get that free pass for the next caution flag, and there will be a next caution flag. We are at Martinsville.
It will be. They see Biffle got a nice little run up off the corner there out of turn 4, but because of the being on the inside there and Junior on the outside, he can't make the pass that he's wanting to right yet, but he's going to try it right now. Going to make it 3 wide. Not sure this is going to work for somebody.
No,
work
baby.
for Biffle. Well, sometimes you got to take that chance. We see the 8 car get a little bit loose there up in front of Tony Stewart.
That's for position. McMurray going by Earnhardt Jr. for the 4th spot. Jamie McMurray's got a very good race car, despite the fact that he was involved in a spin on lap 81. And by the way, that contact came from the 88 car.
Yeah, he's done a nice job. All these guys racing hard back here. That's Ken Schrader, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin's in the middle of that. Martin Truex Jr.
Kyle Busch in the 18 car being shown 3 laps down.
Carling's back.
He was a lap down and had an issue with a melted right front bead. Stopped on the racetrack to bring out the caution flag, and NASCAR then held him 2 laps in the pit.
But you got to be big.
Penalty for stopping on the track.
Inside. 1 car, clear of the 99 right there.
He'd wrestled the lead away.
Pressures aren't taking off like the left side.
Caution, but
Very aggressive move down in the corner. You can see they were right on the limit of braking getting in there.
These 2 guys, these teammates, have finished 1-2 in NASCAR Sprint Cup.
Good, man. You're fine. Settle in. Turn your brake man's on.
Jeff Gordon has won 5 of them, and Jimmie Johnson has won 3. But the last time they finished 1-2 here, spring a year ago. Remember that finish bumping and rubbing and pushing and shoving? It was Jimmie Johnson that got the win that day.
This race is shaping up to end the same way with these teammates going at it.
yeah, somebody else is going to have to step up and see if they can become a part of it. Looks like Jimmie Johnson might be just a little bit loose right now.
There's 1 car that's lurking back there in 3rd spot that might give these guys a run for their money. That 99 car has been fast all day, and now we see him in 3rd spot, basically with clear traffic.
Yeah, best run by Carl Edwards this racetrack by far.
No other active driver has won as many times at Martinsville as Jimmie.
20-35 on the leader.
At this racetrack. And we asked him about the reason for his success at this place.
It took several hundred, maybe even 1,000 or more laps to really get a grip on Martinsville. But when we did, you know, we just went on a tear, and not necessarily all wins. We won a lot, but you know, even when we're not winning, we're fast, we're running good. We've got a lot of second place finishes here as well.
He finished 2nd here back in March, finished 3rd here back last fall. Has swept both events here back in 2003 from the pole.
30, real good lap, very smooth.
At this racetrack.
I could have shortened that answer for him by quite a bit, just saying that talent and the willingness to change his driving style, because what he tried to do when he first came here, along with a lot of other drivers, wasn't working, and Jeff was willing to change that here whenever he was testing and saw a better way to get around here. Obviously worked awfully.
4:45 on the leader. Go get him, buddy.
I don't know if that was shorter or not than what he said, but anyway, that's what it was.
6 and 31 car, Burton and Reagan. That's 15th and 16th. 12 car, Ryan Newman behind him. Good run for Ryan back in 17th spot. And Matt Kenseth now back on the lead lap. 18th position.
45 on the leader.
He was in an incident earlier with Joe Nemechek where they got together. You can see the car got a lot of damage where they fixed it, taped it up, but he's still hanging right in there. So is Juan Pablo Montoya. He's hanging right in there, and actually looks like he's going to get by Matt.
Big red, maybe just what they use to describe as brakes, but he's been having some brake issues, and they've certainly been glowing, but he's hanging on.
Fluid as it was a couple of runs going, for whatever reason.
The 10 car, and then Michael Waltrip in the 55 having a nice run also. Travis Quaffle there after his earlier spin is still on the lead lap also. So these guys are running 20th, 21st, 22nd.
But go get him. Last play here will be a big deal.
Take that spot away. Nice run for A.J. Allmendinger. He's really the only Gillette Evernham car that's still out there running. Casey King's had problems. Elliott Sadler is back on the racetrack after extensive repairs to his number 19 Dodge.
Gabe, 49 on the leader.
I mentioned Michael Waltrip having a pretty good run. How about the 44 car of David Rudeman, now being shown up in 12th position, trying to hold off the charge of Kevin Harvick. Dave.
And Doc, it's interesting how strategy works out. Remember how staying out at a certain round of pit stops hurt Greg Biffle? Well, on that same round of pit stops, most cars got 4 tires. David Rudiman, he took on 2 tires, and that worked out for him. That jumped them from somewhere in the 20s up into near the top 10. So it worked out for them. They had enough fuel to go that full run, and now they're just trying to keep that position for the rest of the day.
Rudiman trying to stay in front of the 29 car. A couple of anxious moments a moment ago for the 31 car.
Catching double zero up ahead of you, clear by 8.
Got in turns 1 and 2. Here's what happened to the 31. Watch him going in the corner.
I think he starts wheel hopping the car, or lock the rear wheels up, getting in the corner underneath Sam Hornish.
5.
284 laps are in the books. It has been the Jeff and Jimmie show at Martinsville Speedway. Jeff Gordon is our leader.
The long day's grind at Martinsville Speedway to be the last man standing at the end of 500 laps. Ongoing here, and a new leader as we come back live to Martinsville, Virginia. Jimmie Johnson just slipped around Jeff Gordon.
I tell you, Jeff Gordon just got around Jimmie Johnson, like you said there, and that was a good move because he's just trying to get those points, trying to keep that car out front, keep that clean air. Got to do what you got to do. We're over 2 hours into this race right now. Tempers are starting to flare. These guys need to cool down a little bit.
Kind of tight, so snappy loose. Now I'm just getting free as I run.
You're grinding away in this car lap after lap after lap. You never really have 2 seconds to breathe here on one of these straightaways. What's it like to keep your focus and to keep yourself pushing as hard as you need to push to win one of these races?
It's a good point, Alan. It's hard to do that, but right now this race is starting to settle in a little bit. You know, where the tough part happens is on these restarts when these guys are side by side, they're beating and banging. What they got to do now is get out front like Jimmie Johnson and start conserving those brakes. Save that car. And above all, you know, keep yourself cool. I think it's very, very important to do that right now.
So the harder discipline is to get yourself in position to slow down and ease off versus to keep yourself pushing hard.
You know what Chad Canals told me earlier about Jimmie Johnson? He says that's the greatest asset to Jimmie Johnson is he understands that his brakes are going to get soft during the race, but he doesn't freak out. A lot of these guys freak out when their brakes start to go away. He doesn't do it. He backs it up, he cools his brakes down, and then he goes racing again. And that's what we saw him do just a little while ago with Jeff Gordon. Now he's back up on the wheel.
Jimmie Johnson has led the most laps today, and I think somebody mentioned earlier.
Still there?
Might have come from upstairs,
Clear?
guys. You get the most points by leading the most laps and winning the race. Was that you, Petrie?
Yeah, that was me, Alan.
All right. See, I listen.
That's good. Pay attention.
Oh, there goes Rudiman up across the racetrack. After a while, he was having a great run in 12th position. He will lose 3, 4, 5 spots and now fall back in line. Or maybe not head to pit road. He's got an issue.
Front right, he's on pit road.
He could have a right front down because the car really went up the racetrack down.
Right side tires, right side tires.
Hear him calling for just right side tires. We get over to this right front.
Yeah, he's got a soft right front.
Clear by 2 right there.
Calling him in the pits to change those tires.
Look at it, we got in the wall pretty hard here.
That's unfortunate, David Heads. We
1.
I mean, it had a great run going.
Broke on the right front, Ryan.
Dave?
Still there. Clear.
You guys, right now, you're just seeing the work on the right front to try to figure out what had happened. Just ended up in the wall, and they'll change to right side tires, but they got to be careful that that right front suspension wasn't further damaged. You heard David's radio communication wondering about it.
Car just abruptly went up across the racetrack. Now we'll show you what happened. Watch this 44 car as he heads down.
Still there. Outside. Still there. Barely there.
Now he's got a problem with the
clear.
Making that contact. Now he's just trying to get out of the way, and these other cars are coming by.
And moments ago, the 88 car, Dale Earnhardt Jr. gets by McMurray, who had been one of the quickest cars on the racetrack. In fact, 5 of the last 8 laps, McMurray had been faster than the leaders. Now Earnhardt goes by and takes the 4th spot away.
Well, we've got a car in the wall up in turn 4, turn 3.
Martin Truex up scraping the wall. No yellow will stay green. There he comes. You see the scrapes on the side of the wall. He rubbed the wall between turns 3 and 4.
Like he could have locked the rear wheels up getting in that corner.
Yeah, I think he just got in there a little bit too hard, a little bit high. Yeah, you could see he got in there too hard, and he was high entering the corner. I believe he kept it out of the wall.
Did a good job. Great job of saving that car.
Martin's had a really good run going all day. He's been in the top 10 the majority of the day.
And look at the wheel marks on the right side of that car.
Still there. Outside.
Yeah, and he is still in the top 10.
Still there.
Ninth, so he recovered and he's okay.
Still there.
Jimmie Johnson has led over 500 laps in the
Still there.
6 chase races thus far this season.
Barely got a nose there. Still out there barely. Clear, clear.
In a single season. What a year he's had.
Hey, Andy, I'm sitting down here watching this deal happen, and, you know, all these guys are locking up these rear brakes. I want to get...
Clear by 1 to the 24th.
The opening in front of these grills for the brakes are so much smaller than the old car that we used to run. I just really think that probably there's not enough opening to cool it. We see this problem on the road courses, everybody wheel hopping. We see the problem here in Martinsville now, wheel hopping. Could there be something to that?
Yeah, Rusty, it could be. I mean, that's one of the challenges of this new car, are the limitations as far as brake ducts and all that stuff, because this front end doesn't have the overhang that the old car had. So you don't have as much room for all the brake ducts. And those openings are a little bit smaller. But the other thing about this car, Rusty, is that it seems like it likes a lot of rear brake, and a lot of guys put as much as they can.
Still there. Outside. Barely. Clear, clear.
Then the rear brakes kind of take over, and that's when the rear wheels start hopping and sliding.
Yeah, this car's doing a bunch of crazy things, you know, compared to what we used to. There's no doubt about that. But with no cooling to the fronts, we all know we'll start losing the front efficiency of the braking and stopping power. When that happens, everything...
Still there. Outside. Still out there. Outside. Clear, clear.
Think about opening these front brakes up a little more. Let these guys cool these brakes some more.
Yeah, you know what they'd do then, Rusty? Then they would start using them more.
Yeah. Okay, so you fix one problem, now you get another, right?
Yeah, you guys figure out a way to take advantage of all those little advances we make. If we can cool the brakes better, you just figure out a way to get them hotter.
NASCAR has told the teams, by the way, that they will not make any major rule changes for 2009 with this new car. The rules will remain the same. They'll be able to adjust them and keep building newer generation cars, but they wanted to give the team some notice so they can start building cars for next year.
Yeah, and I think Andy's got a good point that they're using a lot more rear brake with this car to try to help the car turn in the center of the corner. You can see Carl Edwards has taken advantage of the traffic along with Dale Jr. here. We've got our front four, Jimmie Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Carl Edwards, and Dale Jr. all right together. Jimmie's kind of taking his time getting through this traffic, not creating any problems, which is exactly what he should do with the position he's in, leading the race and the points. But it's allowed these guys to close in on him a little bit.
How good has Hendrick Motorsports been at this track over the years? And we mentioned it's been the Jeff and Jimmie shows. Combined, they have led 9 times for 212 laps today.
Clear. Clear by 2.
We got the green flag here, and Jimmie Johnson back out front. Carl Edwards in hot pursuit.
Carl Edwards is having his career day at Martinsville today.
Remember, this is one of only 2 tracks on the circuit where he has never led a single lap, and he has yet to lead today.
He's working hard on it, though.
He's trying to do that, but the best thing is he's just having a good, solid run here, and it'll be something for him to build on from this point forward.
Keep it straight like that. Very nice.
48. He's been strong and looks like unbeatable all day. But that's a lot of brake dust we saw coming off that car when they changed those tires.
It is a lot. But
makes you wonder how hard.
Press on, brake press on.
Jimmie's been awful good in being able to manage that here over the last 3 or 4 years. It's a fine line of balance that you have to do, is how hard you want to drive it and can drive it and get the most out of it without abusing it.
I think that's one of the things that makes Jimmie so good. He does
42, stay behind you.
Without stepping over that line. So I'm sure he's got a good feel for what he's got and how much he can abuse the brakes.
We had Jimmie in our pit studio in our practice show yesterday and asked him why he was so good at his place. He said, you know, growing up as an off-road racer in dirt, you had to be so technically sound. And he said when he came here, he had to hit his mark so precisely, it helped him.
5, good lap.
Martinsville.
You do have to be disciplined to be good here at Martinsville.
It takes a lot of that, and he's, again, having good race cars, that makes your job a lot easier too. But see these first 3 guys, they're pretty close here. But Jamie McMurray, what a great day this guy's having. You know, he got spun early in the race, a little contact from the 88 car.
40.
He's rebounded from that. They played a little pit strategy, and it's worked out really, really good for him. Solid run in the top 5. Jamie?
Yeah, and he said that he's been fighting loose all day, but the only adjustments they've made is with air pressure, and that's exactly what they did on the last pit stop. Air pressure and 4 tires. And I talked to Larry Carter, his crew chief, earlier today. He said, we're not surprised how well we've been running.
6 straight, smooth, bud, straight. So you guys are racing pretty hard behind you.
And he said, we just have had a lot of crashes, unfortunate circumstances, and we haven't finished. So they're making the most of it. It's going to be 5 more races
Clear,
for the
bud,
two of
5
these guys together, as he'll have a new crew chief in 2009. Doc?
Coming off that 5th place finish last week at Charlotte. Here's the 88, just looking to get around 99. That would be for 2nd position.
One thing I like what I'm seeing out of this 88 car today is he's peaking at the right time. It's just the end of the race. We've got just over 100 laps to go, and this looks like the best that we've seen this 88 car run all day.
Yeah, he looks better than the 99 right now. It's just difficult. Carl's making that car of his awfully wide, and it's taking away where Junior's car is really fast. But this is great to see them running this well with about 100 laps to go.
He's overcome a penalty early in the race when he had to go to the rear of the field, actually to 41st position for speeding on pit road.
You mentioned back in March he led the most laps in this race. 146, and then faded late. And the 26 car off the pace.
Hey,
Jamie?
Yeah, Doc, Jamie McMurray just said, something broke, guys. I think it may be an axle. I'll meet you in the garage. Very disappointing end, guys. Maybe they can get back out and salvage some points.
That's too bad right there. That's one thing about this track, though. It's very, very hard on equipment. And those rear gears especially, it's hard on because they run
37. Good job, bud. Nice.
The drive shaft and the engine turns 6.5 times for every revolution of the tire, and it just puts a lot of load on the suspension and drive line.
Fourth position, which would have been his best finish of the year, coming off the heels of that top 5 at Charlotte last Saturday night.
Man, we talked about him and his team in a lot of races here recently, but they just don't have the finishes. But they are running well, and that's good to know that they are doing that, but just can't seem to have any luck.
Here's a guy that has it
Still
all.
there.
Jimmie Johnson
Outside,
has
clear.
led 6 times for 242 laps. And now Jeff Gordon getting a little racy, trying to move his way back toward the front. There's 11 of Hamlin, 83 of Vickers. Yeah, Vickers off a couple of spots on on pit road during that last caution, but it seems that his car is the best on the longer run. So he may just be settling in and see if we're going to be able to run to the end. If we are, then his car will be good again. Dave?
And remember, the 11 car has to be conscious of his brakes, but in talking to his crew chief this morning, he said, you know what? This weekend is shaping up a lot like the last couple here, the 48, the 24, and us. Mike Ford believed that by the end of the day, Denny Hamlin would be battling near the front again as he tries to pressure Gordon.
I think you might be right. It'd be interesting to see. If you saw our practice show yesterday, we had an in-car of Denny Hamlin. Man, he was really smooth in there. He didn't use a lot of brake, let the car roll, and wasn't having to fight the steering wheel. So that's exactly what you need in these last 100 laps to move forward.
Looked like he was driving in a mall parking lot, just easily turning the steering wheel. These guys don't have it easy. They've been having a little contact, a little bumper tag here. Edwards and Dale Earnhardt Jr., neither one of which have led a lap today.
5.
Really faster right through the center of the corner, and Carl's car might be a little bit tighter in that point, but he's able to hold Junior up, and then Carl gets a really good run off the corner, but he's really slowing Junior's momentum down, and it's hard for him to make that pass.
96 laps to go in Martinsville. This is the most laps Jimmie Johnson has ever.
8, stay behind you.
245 at the front of the field here today. Action all around the racetrack here in the final 90 laps. Left top of your screen, Jimmie Johnson, the leader. Right top is the battle for second place heating up, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. losing some patience now, trying to get on the inside of Carl Edwards. And on the bottom, Jamie McMurray, who's had such a good run all day, was running in 4th spot. Head of the garage area to get some work done on the axle there in the rear end of his car.
Yeah, this right here, that's the rear gear assembly that they're going to change. The one that's in there broke, and so they're going to change that whole assembly.
Dogging Carl Edwards. You can see he rolls through the center really good, but he's a little bit free up off and can't make that run. I'm not sure how much more patience he's going to show right here.
Yeah, how many more laps do you try this before you finally just say, okay, I'm just going to move you?
How patient would his dad have been here?
Oh, not very. Shannon?
Well, I read a quote earlier this week. Tony Eury Jr. said that Dale Earnhardt Jr., as he goes on the inside.
Still there. Clear.
He is not giving up on this battle. Junior trying to make it on the low side. Nose to nose. It looks like Junior is going to take that place from Carl Edwards right now. But back to what I was saying, I was talking to Tony Jr. He said Dale Earnhardt Jr. doesn't use a lot of brakes here at Martinsville.
003 ahead of you on the outside there.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. He said he lifts earlier getting into the turns, which, as you guys were commenting on, allows him to really roll through the center, saving his brakes for the race, and allows him to get a little more aggressive if he needs to towards the end of the race.
That has like another effect too. When you're easy on the brakes, it doesn't overheat the tires, and we've seen the tires blow out, but also it keeps that buildup from building up in the right front, making the car get tighter as you run, and causing more problems with the
Still there. Still there.
See Jeff Burton making a nice run back. He's moved himself back up into the 11th spot right now, trying to work into the top 10 behind Martin Truex here. You see his teammate, the 29 car, Kevin Harvick, just up in front of there. So nice rebound here. Jeff, even though he was struggling that last run, was able to stay on the lead lap, and now it's making up a few more spots.
I think he checked his watch. He says, okay, it's 85 laps to go. I got to go.
Jimmie Johnson, the leader, now working in some pretty significant traffic. There's Kurt Busch, who's had all kinds of issues today up across the racetrack 4 times.
Still there. Clear.
Jimmie trying to thread his way through traffic. It'll be less than 80 laps to go when we come back in a moment. It'll be 8 laps to go when they take the green flag. Matt Kenseth, Clint Boyer, and Brian Vickers.
That's a little gap there.
The lead lap did come on the pit road a moment ago.
Ready? Green flag.
Jimmie Johnson hold off Earnhardt Jr.
Junior didn't get a good jump there. This first corner is always tough. Not exactly sure how far you can drive in there if your car's going to stick. Jimmie Johnson, a nice run off turn 2.
Remember, Carl Edwards has never won here and never led a lap here.
Nice and smooth, just like that. Nice corner.
That you used yesterday in practice, and he launched off of that corner.
And Jimmie Johnson is so precise with that car, he's going to be almost impossible to beat here these last few laps. Looks like Junior's under attack. Carl's got a fender.
Carl Edwards on the inside.
2 wide back behind you.
It'll be 6 to go this time by. Junior pulls him now by half a car length.
Jimmie Johnson's looking back and telling those guys just to keep racing hard for second. That's the best thing.
Brake pads on, brake pads on.
Yeah, his biggest ally right now is Carl Edwards.
Coming up on
5 to go. 5 to go.
Hendrick cars have Carl surrounded here.
He doesn't have to look too far back to see that 4th Hendrick car. As they run in the 4 Hendrick cars running in the top 6 here today. Casey Mears under attack from Kevin Harvick.
Clear by 5 there, nice and smooth.
That's 6th and 7th. Remember, Harvick has never had a top 5 finish here either. 4 to go as Jimmie Johnson now pulls away by almost a second.
Matt Kenseth came in that last caution and got tires, and he's up on the, whoa, he turns David Reagan, or hits him off of turn 4. You see Reagan all the way down.
839, good job. Caution's out, caution's out. Got 1 spun in middle 1 and 2. Got 1 spun in middle 1 and 2.
Set up a green-white checker finish.
I'm not sure if he's got, I don't think he's got a flat, or has a flat. I think he just got some rubber buildup on his tires. He and Matt Kenseth had a little contact coming out of turn 4. Matt was trying to work the outside. That gets a little above.
Turn your brake fans off.
I think it's just the rubber buildup here as he went down into this corner then and tried to make that corner.
Also, he had a terrible angle by being so low on the straightaway. When he got to the corner, he had to make an abrupt move with the steering wheel.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Dave. He had a great run all day from the back of the pack in a backup car. Had to start 43rd today. Had himself in the top 10.
Yeah, he was running 8th position at that point in time. As you mentioned, what a great job he had done. Well, guys, green-white checkered finish here. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to have to get a better jump than he did a moment ago on that restart.
He did. He got just lost a couple car lengths on that initial start. Couldn't make it up. As a matter of fact, Jimmie Johnson actually pulled away 4 or 5 car lengths.
Jimmie, there's a piece of debris middle of the backstretch by the commitment line down there.
Jimmie, his best shot's going to be down in 1 and 2, down in the middle of 1 and 2.
This is the second green-white checker in Martinsville Speedway history, and the guy who won the first one is leading right now, Jimmie Johnson. How about Tony Eury Jr.? What's he thinking about right now?
He's thinking, I sure hope we get a better restart than we did last time.
Let's talk to Clint Boyer, our in-race reporter, back in 10th spot.
Clint, Dale Jarrett, ESPN. You have a copy?
I got it.
Clint, see you there in 10th. You made a pit stop just a minute ago. Got a little bit more for these last couple of laps?
I hope so. I think we can get 1 or 2 more here. It's going to be a dogfight. So try to hold on and tough it out.
What have you been fighting most of the day with your car?
I just tie it off, rotating the center off, just kind of snap loose, push loose. So that's kind of something that's hard to fix, but Gil and all the boys on Jack. Hey, 1 to go when you get here. Be a green, white checkered.
All right, Clint, good luck in these last couple of laps. Thanks for talking with us today.
Both belts a tug.
So Johnson, Earnhardt Jr., Edwards, Gordon, and Hamlin. That's a top 5. Then Casey Mears is 6th. Harvick, Kenza, Truex, and Clint Boyer in 10th spot. Brian Vickers is 11th and Biffle 12th. There are 13 cars on the lead lap.
There's our overtime finishes this year. See there, if Jimmie Johnson can hold off and win this thing, this will be his first green white checker finish of the year, or at least a win.
See these guys really getting their tires cleaned off here.
Okay, Dale, how do you get that position on the 48 if you're Dale Jr.? What do you do right here?
You just got to try to make the best restart you possibly can.
Lay back, tack that thing up a little bit, make sure we got good fuel in the fuel line.
On previous restarts is he doesn't get into that first corner very hard.
Coming to the green.
Junior's chance, if he can get a good restart to get to Jimmie's bumper, just a little bit of a tap there, that's going to be your best shot.
Green, white checkered, watch your gap there.
Championship hanging in the balance here. Can Jimmie Johnson hold him off? Remember, only one.
Ready? Green flag.
And here they come. Johnson just pulls away out of turn 4.
Yeah, I think he looked back and he saw Junior easing up on him, and that's whenever he took off. A nice restart by Jimmie Johnson.
Five car lengths for Jimmie Johnson. Earnhardt Jr.'s got a little over 1 lap.
Clear by 2. White flag this time.
White flag for Johnson.
White flag this time.
What a dominant day for Jimmie Johnson. He's led 7 times for 339 laps. And down the back straightaway, Jimmie Johnson trying to pick up his 6th win.
Coming to the checkered. Awesome job, guys. Good job, Jimmie. Good job, guys. Good job, Jimmie. Shall we roll, boys? Excellent performance, gentlemen. Excellent performance. Great work. That's what you call. That's it. That's what you call points race. Getting them all. That's what you call points race. Getting them all.
And Jimmie has just climbed from his race car. You led 339 laps. I guess we shouldn't be surprised based upon what we've seen you do at this racetrack in the past. How have you been able to dominate the way you have here in Martinsville?
It's just been good to me. At first, I wish there was a missile that we could redirect over here and blow this place up whenever it just came here, but man, what a car, and just a great race team and patience over the years, and me just taking the time to learn this place, and it's paid off. But what a better way to points race than go out and lead the most laps, win the race, and do that kind of stuff. I'm very proud of this race team, very proud of the effort we put in today in this Lowe's Impala. The fans have been great. I can't thank them enough for all their support and watching what this team's been able to do through the chase. So thank you, everybody.
As dominant as you were, you still had to go through a green-white checker situation, holding off your teammate Dale Earnhardt Jr. What were your thoughts just before the green flag came out for that green-white checker?
I hope I don't mess this up. those restarts are tough, and I've been vulnerable here in the past on restarts, and we worked hard in practice to make sure we were good on the short run. Probably a little off on the long haul, and the 88 was catching us the run before we pitted there. The last caution came out, and we just had to really focus on the short run, and thankfully it played out that way. And I also cannot leave here without
that's what it's all about.
Bringing attention to Rick and what took place here a few years ago with that plane going down, and everybody we miss and wish they were here.
Looking at the big picture, 4 races to go. You've got a very sizable lead. Have you begun thinking about potentially claiming that 3rd title yet?
It's getting closer. It's still not time. I still, as long as I can hold off and just worry about winning races, the better. And hopefully I can do that in the next 2 or 3 races and cruise on in from there.